Legitimate political discourse. Are you freaking kidding me?
I don't know who they're talking about when they're talking about legitimate political discourse. Are they talking about the people who are breaking glass and assaulting police officers and throwing fire extinguishers at them and dragging them down concrete stairs? Are they talking about the people who put up the gallows to say hang Mike Pence? Are they talking about the people who signed fake electoral votes and submitted them to the National Archives and to the Congress of the United States at the behest of the Trump campaign? Is it legitimate political discourse for John Eastman and that fellow in the Justice Department, Jeffrey Clark, to basically make fake theories about that overrule the Constitution and overrule the 12th Amendment and overrule the Electoral Count Act of 1887? Those two guys. I mean, is it legitimate political discourse? Those two who have now pled the Fifth Amendment before the January 6th committee? I don't think so. And so, it's hard to know who they're talking about here, who is engaging in legitimate political discourse, who is somehow being harassed by the January 6th committee. If somebody was engaging in legitimate political discourse on January 6th or the days leading up to that, they have nothing to fear from the January 6th committee or anyone else.
So that's Kellyanne Conway's husband, George, laying out the... I'm sure there were some things that happened that we didn't even get to in that little rant there, like using the National Security Agency to seize voting machines. And if the National Security Agency won't do it, maybe we could do it with the Department of Justice. Oh, and if Bill Barr won't do it, then maybe we could do it through the Department of Defense. And if, the Department of Defense won't obey illegal orders, then let's just do it through Mike Flynn's National Security. I mean, it's just so sad. We got Colonel Waldron, who owns a bar in Austin, Texas, who was literally in cahoots with General Flynn. These two military dudes in cahoots with each other, formerly of the DNI, the Directorate of National Intelligence. Oh my God. Donald Trump's own national security advisor advising the president to use the intelligence agencies to seize the voting machines to then claim that there was some fraud. I mean, this is so bizarre, but it's legitimate political discourse. If you ask the Republican National Committee, holy crap. Now, why did they say that? They said that so they could then censure Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and kick them out of the Republican Party for simply having the decency and the guts to ask questions about how did this all go so off the rails. The peaceful part of it, the part we would never have known about, had it not been for the violent part. Because of the violent part, we were able to then ask questions, and the questions kept revealing answers that were showing us two tracks, more than one. Not just the violence on January 6th, not just the attempt to overthrow the government physically, but also a coup that was non-bloody, and we would not have known about it had it not gotten violent. Nobody would have been able to ask any questions about what they were up to because A, it didn't happen, but B, no one would believe that any of this happened. They would have done, oh, it's a hoax. It's a hoax, like COVID is a hoax, and this is fake, and that's crisis actors, and over here you got a fraud, and everything is the Ukraine was a perfect everything was a hoax, everything was and con men can talk you into whatever their position preferred is, even if they've said something 180 degrees different before. That's how good the lying is. I mean, it's world-class lying. But I mean, this is so unbelievable. So Adam Kinzinger was asked, what do you think about this being censured by the RNC, saying that everything that we now know because of your committee, because of the January 6th Select Committee in the Congress, of which he is a member, now we know about the soft, I won't call it soft, I'll just call it bloodless. Now we know about the bloodless coup and the violent insurrection, two different things that, converged on that day. What do you make of them calling it legitimate political discourse?
It makes me pretty sad because I think it says a lot for the party, and it says a lot to call January 6th legitimate political discourse. But, it's actually just made me even double down on my intensity to get to the bottom of this, because that's really frightening when, you know, in theory, half of the country's party is focused on complete denial of truth.
You say it says a lot about the party. What does it say?
Well, I think it says that they are completely unmoored from truth. I think it shows that they have pledged allegiance to one man over any kind of principle, and they can call that like loyalty. They call that conservatism. Conservatism is no longer about what you actually believe. It's about how intensely you're loyal to Donald Trump, a rhino now, a Republican in name only, as somebody who maybe actually holds to real conservatism and not to Donald Trump. I think it shows that this party is not committed to the rule of law, despite what they say, and it's not committed to democratic principles, small d, to get, to one vote, one, counts, and whoever gets the most votes wins. It's pretty frightening. And to see, the chair of the RNC, Ronna McDaniel, stand up and try to now recover and say, oh, we only meant legitimate political discourse with nonviolence. Well, that's insane, because we would not be having a January 6th committee that I'm being condemned for if it was all nonviolent. I mean, nobody denies your First Amendment right to have an opinion. We do deny your ability to break, destroy, and try to overthrow an election.
I mean, it's so insane. They're not the party of the big tent anymore. Now they're the party of the big lie. And if you don't go down the bad road with the big lie, if you're not willing to go down that dark, dank road with them, then you have to be purged from the party. Literally purged. They're purging people. They're purging voters. They're purging. They're banning. They're censoring. And then when we speak up and speak out about, people who are mangling and mishandling the truth, when people are out there trying for entertainment purposes to tell you that the virus is a hoax, or to tell you you don't need to protect yourself in any way, shape, or form against a global pandemic, infectious respiratory virus, if we say, hey, private companies really shouldn't incentivize people to the tune of $100 million to do that for entertainment purposes, to say he's a bro, then we're censoring? Look, only the government can censor people. Private businesses have rules, just like the truck alliance has rules. Just like, you're a truck driver, you follow the rules. You don't carry a gun. You're not allowed to. You do keep a log of how many hours you drove. And if you're going across the border to a country that has a vaccine mandate, guess what? You either are vaccinated or you get tested at the border. And, if you're not prepared and you haven't pre-tested yourself before you approach the border and you're negative, if you show up positive, they're going to quarantine you. They're a free country. That's the price of doing business with a free country. I mean, it's so off the rails. It's so distorted and it's so twisted. And, it is Orwellian. And I know that I've been saying this for 20 years, but if you can't see that up is down and black is white, and that you need to say whatever, Big Brother, or whatever the dear leader wants you to say, if you don't say that 2 and 2 is 5 because that's what he wants you to say, you're purged or you're sent to a re-education camp, or, you only get to drink oily gin. You don't get the good stuff. This is madness, and you're bringing it on yourselves for no good reason. For no good reason. Just admit that you got sucked in. Just admit that you found him entertaining, and he was saying what you wanted to hear. He was voicing your frustrations, however crazy they might be. And so, you got hooked up with them. Walk away. Just walk away. Before you find yourself literally intimidating somebody at a food pantry and demanding that they feed you. What the hell? Tony in Texas. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. There was no time here. You want to be on hold, or?
Yes, I can hold. That's
okay.
Fine.
All right, thanks. I hung up. I always do that. Sorry, Tony, call us back. I'm not good at the hold.
Call us right back, Tony. We got room in line. For everybody, we've got room in line, so call us back. Here's another little confession. I can't
do a conference call, okay? I can't merge two lines either. I only recently have become able to put a call on hold and take the other call, and that's only because they give you choices now: accept and hold or decline. And that's the only reason. So apologies, Tony. Apologies. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.